Hey guys, it's Miss Shannon and Lola and some of my plants. So for today's group, we're going to be talking about taking care of plants again. And of course, most character traits are related to taking care of plants of some sort, but I'm really thinking about the two character traits of responsibility and caring when it comes to plant care. So for the first video I posted about plant care, we talked about things like the water needs and light needs, but today we're going to go a little more detailed. We're going to be looking at how the plant communicates with us, what it needs through its own body, just kind of like how we do. Remember a video I posted a couple weeks ago maybe? It was talking about nonverbal communication. And right, we're able to communicate with our bodies how we're feeling. Plants are able to do that too. Of course, they take a lot more time to do it than we do, right? If I am exposed to something that makes me happy, I'm probably going to feel happy pretty quickly, and I'm probably going to show that through like a smile or maybe some more energy pretty quickly. A plant might take a few days to show it. So we're going to look at the different signs that a plant is either healthy or not healthy, and we're going to go through some of these plants. I won't make you guys sit through going through all the plants, but we'll go through some of the plants to see those signs on that specific plant, to see if they're feeling happy or not so great. And we're also going to do some other little care things, like I want to show you how to wipe down leaves like this guy over here has really large leaves. Those leaves get really dusty when they're inside, just like any other surface in your house. But out in nature, this plant doesn't want dusty leaves. It's in like the jungle, and it wants its like leaves to be rained on and cleaned off pretty often. But if it lives inside, it doesn't get that natural rain. So we, as the plant parents, should take some time to wipe down those leaves, make sure they're nice and clean. I want you guys to take 10 seconds to see if you can guess why the leaves are happier being cleaned. Go. You crazy. Where's your toy? Where's your toy? Good girl. Alright, did anybody guess? Alright, so the leaves want to be cleaned off because the leaves and the green parts on plants are what absorb sunlight. Remember, plants create food, their own food, through the sunlight. And so if a plant is covered in dust, it actually can't get as much sunlight as it probably would like to. Oh my gosh. What are you doing? Shh. Oh my gosh. Shh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Shh. Come here. Come on. Alright, let's try that again. So did anybody guess why leaves like to be cleaned off? Well, the leaves and other green parts on the plant, sometimes other colors on certain plants, are the parts that absorb sunlight. And if you remember, plants create their own food through sunlight, with sunlight. So the sunlight gets absorbed in the plant's leaves, and then the plant creates food out of that, pretty much. But if a plant is covered in dust, it's not going to be able to get as much sunlight because it has a thin layer of stuff on top of it, right? That's blocking the sunlight from getting to the leaf. So indoor plants definitely need to be either like washed in the sink. Once again, not all these plants, but most of the plants would like to either be washed in the sink a little bit, just on the top to get their like leaves, or they want to be wiped down with like a paper towel, a wet paper towel, or like a soft sponge or something. And I'll show you all that in a couple minutes. But yeah, so today we're going to check out the plants, look for those signs that they're telling us that they're either healthy or in need of some more care and like not doing so well. And then we're going to take some time to actually take care of the leaves by wiping them down. And also I'm going to probably go through a few plants and pick off some of some maybe dead leaves or leaves that aren't looking very healthy, because the plant doesn't really want to waste all of its energy on the parts of it that are already kind of dying. They'd rather put it towards new growth or maintaining healthy growth that already exists, okay? So it's actually, it always feels bad a little bit, especially when I first started taking care of plants. It felt bad to like pluck off a dead part or a not so healthy part, because I'm like, oh my gosh, that plant took so much time to make this beautiful leaf, but it's not very healthy, and it always felt bad to like cut it off or pluck it off. But now that I've been doing it for a while, you really see it's important to do that, and it's actually better for the plant. And it looks nicer, so it's better for you too. Alright guys, so let's get to it. Let's go check out these plants. Alright guys, so we're here with my Monstera deliciosa, which is a plant with pretty big leaves. This is still a little baby, so its leaves are not that big right now, but they're still going to gather a lot of dust. This one especially I see a lot of dust on, which means once again it's blocking that leaf from getting all the sunlight that it needs, okay? So we're going to go around, I'm going to show you how to clear off a leaf. We're going to just take care of this plant real quick. So when I'm wiping down a leaf, I just have like a little wet paper towel. You can also use like a gentle sponge. Don't do like a rough sponge, just a gentle one. And just very slowly and lightly go over the leaf and just cover the top. Just wipe it down. It's really easy. You can do the bottom if you want, but you don't need to if you're just wiping for dust usually. Alright, and I'm going to go around to these other leaves real quick. Once again, just gently wiping them down. Doesn't have to be perfect either. Oops. Alright. This plant overall is looking pretty healthy. When I'm looking at its body signs, it's telling me it's pretty happy. So once again, just like we as humans can show different feelings, emotions in our bodies, the plants kind of tell us similar things too, right? And when I'm looking at this plant right now, I see that it's green, and this should be a green plant, so that's good. It's the right color. And also, the leaves look pretty darn good. The leaves, there's not really any like browned edges, there's no like yellowing. Sometimes with plants that are overwatered or have some kind of disease, they can get some yellowing on the leaves, and that's usually not a good sign. And of course there's some plants, by the way, that are just naturally yellow, and that's okay if they're yellow then. But for something like this, if there was yellow parts on the leaves, that might show that there's either, disease or overwatering, and sometimes also like maybe the water isn't pure enough, like there's some like things in the water that the plant isn't liking. But this plant's looking pretty darn healthy. Yeah, and I don't see any bugs either. Alright, so this guy's taken care of. Let's go on to another plant. Alright guys, we're here with, I believe it's called Troy's Gold. And the name actually says it's supposed to be gold colored. It's kind of a bright yellow and like shiny to make it gold looking, which is cool. But right now it's not looking like that. It was not getting a lot of light in its old location, and I think it's really, I just moved this like 2 days ago here to this bright sunny window, and I think it's going to like it more, and I think it'll get back that yellow color if I'm correct in that it needed more sunlight. But we'll see. Sometimes with taking care of plants and other things, it's a little bit of a guessing game. You have to kind of see what it really needs kind of by experiment sometimes, and that's kind of what's happening in this case. But overall, this plant's looking pretty good. I actually don't even need to wipe off the leaves. You could, but it would take a long time. What I do with this plant is when I water it, I take it like over to the sink and like spray it down really gently with water, trying to avoid the dirt, because then the dirt just kind of falls out in the sink. But if you gently kind of water across the leaves, it acts like the rain and cleans off the leaves. So I did that a few days ago and it's looking totally fine, so I don't need to wipe them today. But there are a few crispy leaves on this a little bit, ones that just aren't looking very healthy. So I'm going to pluck a couple of them off. Look, that's like broken and has some brown in it. That shows it's like too dried out to recover. And overall this plant is doing pretty darn well. So yeah guys, that's Troy's Gold. Let's go on to another plant and see how it's doing. Alrighty guys, we are here with another one of my plants. I am blanking on the name of this plant right now, but it's some kind of like alocasia or colocasia, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is a really cool plant, and I'm really proud of this one because when I got it, it only had 2 leaves, and most of the other ones in the store only had 1 to 2 leaves. So the fact that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right now, I'm a proud mama. And this plant's showing me it's healthy, right? If it's popping out new growth, this little guy in the middle is a new growth. He's kind of smaller, and he'll pop up and be bigger like these other guys shortly. But the fact that he's popping out new growth, he's standing up nice and tall, he's like kind of almost proud of himself, right? He's just full of life and strength. And like I said, he's showing me that through his body, right? I am going to give this guy a wipe down because his leaves are kind of large and they do collect some dust. And he'll appreciate having nice clean leaves because he's a little big, so he's hard to clean off in the sink. But yeah. Alright, we're going to do that real quick with this guy. Let's see if I can get a little more comfortable up here. Ugh. This guy I'm just going to like gently wipe once again. It doesn't matter really what direction, but just nice and slow, nice and gentle. Once again, this is a slightly moist paper towel, but you could use like a sponge, like a soft sponge, not a rough sponge, or like a really soft towel or something like that. Just wipe them down. I'm also not seeing any bugs, which is good. And his color is looking pretty good. There's a little yellow here at the tip. I think that's from also underwatering, because it also has some like dried brown on it. So I don't think it's from overwatering. And actually, I'll just pinch that little tip off. Alright guys, let's go to one more plant and see how that guy's doing, alright? Alright guys, we're here with the last plant. This is a cool fern that I have. And it's not doing great. I didn't water it soon enough. It wanted to be watered every few days at the spot it was at earlier, but I couldn't get to it in that time, and it ended up getting a little sick. So, like I said, there's a lot of dried bits. There's a lot of little parts that have like dried and like crispy leaves. That's a definite sign that it's not being watered often. Most plants that have dried leaves like that probably want more water or less sunlight, or both. So I'm just going to go through this plant, pick off a couple of these dead parts. I know, like I said, it kind of feels bad to do sometimes, but it looks better, and it's actually better for the plant because it doesn't have to waste its energy on dead parts. It can put all that energy towards new growth and maintaining the healthy parts of the plant, okay? But yeah, it's showing me it's not doing great. I've made some changes. I'm going to help it out, so hopefully it might take a few weeks actually. Hopefully in a few weeks it'll show me that it's a little happier, okay? Also, I don't need to wipe down these leaves either. They're so tiny, and this is easy to take to the sink, and I actually once again washed it off gently in the sink when I was watering it last, so I'm not going to wipe that off. You could, I guess, but you don't really have to. Alright guys, that's about it, but thanks for joining me for this. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about taking care of plants. Just to recap, we looked at like the body language of the plant. We looked at its color. We said, hey, you're supposed to be green. Are you green? Good, right? Once again, if a green plant, that's a plant that's supposed to be green is looking more like yellow or brown, it probably is having some issues, right? And same thing with our Troy's Gold. It's actually supposed to be more gold looking, and the fact that it's green shows me it needed more light, right? And we also looked at this guy standing up nice and tall, bunch of new growth. He was saying, I'm healthy, I'm happy, Mom, thank you. And then this guy over here was saying, help me, I'm so thirsty. Because his leaves were super crispy and dry, and I don't really see any new growth. But yeah. Overall, guys, that's about it. Bye!